Hey guys, it's Spirit. This is a different video than what I normally make. I just wanted to share my opinion on like the 5 worst gadgets in Brawl Stars right now and how Supercell can improve them, rework them, or just give them a completely new gadget. Am I qualified to talk about this? Absolutely not. I just want to share my opinion, and yeah, let's get right into it, I guess. So number 5 on the list of the 5 worst gadgets is going to be Carl. What Carl does for his gadget is he sends out a trail of hot rocks behind him that do 300 damage per second to everybody that walks on them. So this gadget is practically useless. Nobody ever really walks on it, and even if they do, it only does 300 damage per second, which is basically nothing. So the reason this gadget isn't lower down on the list is because it can be useful in Heist. It can get a lot of damage on the Heist safe, or in Siege, where it can do quite a bit of damage on the. I just scored my own goal. On the Siege, on the Ike in Siege. I think a good new gadget for Carl would be that his main attack, for the next 5 seconds, his main attack sets on fire, and whenever it hits someone, it inflicts fire damage on them, which does 200 damage per second for the next maybe 2 or 3 seconds. So this could be pretty useful on all like the enemies that Carl can't really kill with his main attack, and then they're just sitting behind a wall, and Carl can't hit them. It can like do quite a bit of damage to them, and it could help finish them off, which would give Carl a much better gadget than he has right now. Number 4 on the list is going to be Daryl. So Daryl's gadget, basically, he just spins around and shoots out a bunch of shotgun shells that do 700 damage. So the reason this gadget is really bad is because in the time that he's just standing there shooting out all his shells from his gadget, he's really a sitting duck. Like, he can't move, he can't shoot, and he can't really do anything to defend himself. Just like Carl's, the reason this gadget isn't lower on the tier list is because it can do quite a bit of damage on the safe and heist, and the Ike and siege. So, but most of the time it never really hits anybody, and once again, if it does, it only does 700 damage. So I think a good rework for his gadget is that it spits all the shells out at one time. So like, instead of it going around in a circle and like shooting out the shells one at a time, it just all shoots out at once. And he's not standing there just for like 3 seconds doing nothing. The reason this rework will make Daryl's gadget a lot better is because during his gadget, he won't be completely vulnerable to everybody, and his gadget will take a lot less time, meaning that he can, get around and do stuff like a lot quicker after he's using his gadget than before. And I think another really needed change would also be a damage buff in his gadget. So maybe increase the damage that his gadget does from 700 to maybe 1,000, and I think that might be like a lot better to use his gadget, and you probably have a much better gadget. So number 3 on the list of the top 5 worst gadgets is going to be B. She plops down a little turret that creates a pretty big area of honey that slows people down if they walk in it. So the thing that makes it really bad is that it only has 1,000 health, so it'll get killed basically instantly. Like, almost any brawler can do more than 1,000 damage per shot. And then, also, along with that, it doesn't do any damage, and the radius of the gadget isn't really that big, so not many people are going to get stuck in it. So I think the way you can buff this gadget is to give it a lot more health. I'm thinking maybe 3,000 or 4,000 health, and then also give it a larger area of honey so it can slow people down, like it can slow more people down, right? And if Supercell doesn't want to take that route, I have an idea for like a completely new gadget. So basically what happens is when B uses her gadget, she instantly gains a supercharged shot. Now obviously this isn't really that crazy of a gadget, which is the reason I think it should have maybe more than 3 uses. I'm thinking maybe 5 uses. So I think this could help a lot, because B's supercharged shot does a lot of damage, like 3,080 damage for a supercharged shot, but she doesn't always have it. So I think giving her this gadget will give her an opportunity to have her supercharged shot more, and since her supercharged shot can do 3,000 damage, it can help her out a lot. And maybe those close range situations where Shelly pops out of a bush, and then you're just trying to hit her, but you don't have your supercharged shot, so you can instantly use that gadget and then just maybe kill her. Second worst gadget on the list is going to be Piper. Piper's gadget it's called Auto Aimer, and basically she fires 4 shots at the closest target, each dealing 400 damage. So this gadget's almost completely useless. It might actually be better to not use the gadget than to use it, because not only do the bullets travel super slowly and almost never hit anybody, but 400 damage is almost nothing when she has a main attack that can deal sometimes 2,000 damage. So I think a good reason... So I think a good new gadget... I think a good new gadget that Piper can get is a gadget where for the next 5 seconds her bullet size is a lot larger. So Piper's shots are really difficult. They're probably one of the hardest shots in the game to hit with. So giving Piper a gadget that can increase her bullet width could be really helpful to help her hit more shots and deal the damage that she needs to do. So if Supercell doesn't want to give Piper a completely new gadget, I think a good buff to Auto Aimer could be a lot more damage and faster bullet speed. Because right now it only does 400 damage. I'm thinking maybe it can do 800 damage or more. And the bullet speed would have to be a lot faster because right now it's pretty slow and almost never hits anybody. If Supercell improves this gadget, it could actually make Piper's gadget viable to use in those like really close situations where she's not going to do any damage with her main attack, and she can whip out Auto Aimer, dealing maybe 3,200 damage and possibly killing the person. Alright, number 1 on the list is going to be, you guys guessed it, Dynamite. Dynamite probably has, no, he most definitely, without denial, has the worst gadget in the game. Basically, it's called Fidget Spinner. What he does is he spins around, throws a bunch of bombs, and they each deal 700 damage. Alright, 700 damage is nothing. And that's assuming you do hit somebody. Because look at this thing. I'm standing really close to this penny, and I hit her with 1 shot. 1 shot out of the maybe 20 that he fires. So you can see why this gadget is pretty much useless. You're almost never going to hit more than 1 shot on somebody. And even if you hit 2, that's 1,400 damage. And I think it would be much better if you just use your main attack, because that can do like 2,000 damage. So I think a good way to improve this gadget would be just like Daryl's, to have all the dynamites sticks to just spit out at once. So this would prevent Dynamite from being a sitting duck while he's using his gadget. I think this could help out a lot because he can move around a lot faster after using his gadget, and he won't be completely vulnerable. Whereas before you can just auto aim him, and you can auto aim with like any brawler, and he would just be dead. Another change that has to be made is damage increase. Right now it only does 700 damage, and like I said, you're probably only going to hit maybe 2 out of the 20 that he fires. So a damage increase would be greatly needed. Maybe pretty much similar to Daryl, 1,000 to 1,200 damage, I think would be really good for him. And this gadget, with these improvements, the gadget can probably be actually useful, whereas before it's probably a lot better to just not use your gadget than it is to use your gadget. So I hope you liked this video. I've never really done anything like this before, and if you liked it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I'll catch you next time.